Hi there, this is called a hard-earned pawn and it's in the Queen's Fianchetto defence. White opens d4, black goes for an Indian with knight f6 and c4 is met by e6. White plays knight c3 intending to push e4. Black will usually prevent that from happening by playing a move such as bishop b4, the Nimzo Indian defence which pins the knight on c3, or black could play alternatively d5, entering into a queen's gambit. But here we're looking at the move b6, which allows white to gain a considerable spatial advantage by playing e4, which indeed white does play. Bishop b4 now pins the knight on c3 and threatens knight takes on e4. So white pushes on that e pawn e5, hitting the knight, which jumps to e4. And black here is threatening to win material by playing knight takes c3, because if b takes c3, bishop takes c3, winning a pawn, as well as check rook, winning the exchange as well. So how does white defend against this? With a counter threat, queen g4, hitting the knight on e4, hitting g7 and allowing the knight on c3 to be captured. Well, black captures knight takes on c3, and white certainly doesn't play b takes c3 as stated because of bishop takes c3, check rook. Also, white will not go for queen takes on g7, hitting the rook on f8. That's going to lose as well because black will be able to play knight to e4, check, where white can't interpose with the bishop to d2 because of bishop takes d2, and king d1 leaves white in a horrendous position after rook f8, where black is clearly in control. But after queen g4 and knight takes on c3, white can play a3, a subtle move hitting the bishop. And now the bishop retreats back to f8 to defend the g-pawn. And now white could recapture the knight on c3, but white does better with bishop g5, first hitting the queen. And to save the queen, black has to play bishop e7 or f6. f6 doesn't work because of e takes on f6, g takes on f6, opening up the diagonal, so queen can jump to h5 check, forcing the king to e7, and white has a sweet win here with bishop takes f6, king takes f6. Now the king and queen are precariously placed on the same diagonal, so queen h4 check is going to pick up the black queen. So f6 doesn't work in this position. Black's going to have to interpose with e7, and then after bishop takes e7, queen takes e7, queen takes g7, hits the rook. So the queen's going to drop back to f8 to defend, and now queen takes f8, rook takes f8, and only now does white recapture the knight on c3. b takes on c3, leaves white a pawn up, albeit a double pawn up, which can't be really too bad for white. So this has been called a hard-earned pawn. It's in the Queen's Fianchetto defence. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.